So hi there. Today I actually wanted to share with you guys, especially you guys who are in that place of um, total frustration. Um, we hit these waves, these mostly lows, and then these peaks as we're going along in our school journey. It happens in working too, but not quite as heart-wrenchingly. But our struggle is, it's like waves on an ocean, except the waves are going up as your speed increases and you get closer to your exiting this portion of your life, this section called school. So, I didn't have anybody at the time I was in school to try to explain to me what maybe was going on psychologically. It just felt like I was fighting myself all the time, pushing so hard, and it was almost like the harder I pushed, the less progress I got. Although there can come a time when you just get so freaking mad that you just attack it, and it's like, everything out of my way, I'm doing it. And I've seen it happen for a couple of you. For more of you, it's not that way in your journey. So what I want to postulate to some of you is the notion of non-resistance. How do we make progress, and how do we increase speed and be non-resistant? And is it Buddha who said that all suffering is rooted in judgment and comparison? So we were trying to get rid of the judgment and comparison, but we still judge and compare ourselves. We compare ourselves to ourselves, our results to our efforts, and to those of others. But what if the very act of acknowledging the failures, worrying about the failures, fearing the failures, what if that is the thing that's holding you back? For me, it was easy, 20 years later, looking back, it was easy to see that every test I ever passed was a test where I just went in and took the damn thing and just showed up and did the best I could, but with no attachment to it. I don't know. I've had so many not passes that another one wouldn't surprise me. And then we go into the RPR and the California and the Texas, the other state tests, and we freak out because we feel like, I have to pass this test. I have to pass this test. And there is that inner part of you that's saying ... or, and then we'll die, thinking that it doesn't logically think out the true possible consequences of a not pass. It immediately goes to, and then you'll die. Because that's its greatest fear, is that no matter what we do, no matter how careful and prudent we are, no matter how much we resist going into risky chance-taking situations, that ultimately we're going to die. Well, guess what? We're going to. But it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be true for every trigger that gets us. Every trigger. Every time your brain says, you got to be perfect, but you're not. You got to be perfect, but you can't be. You know that. You've got to be perfect. You have to try. Why? I mean, try your best. Good is good enough. Take off, I don't want to say take your foot off the gas pedal, but for God's sakes, take your foot off the brake at the same time. Cruise for a while if you need to. Put it in neutral and just give yourself an emotional, mental, spiritual, psychological break for a while. What's a while? I don't know. For some people, it's 5 minutes. For some people, it's 5 days. For some people, it's 5 years. I gave myself a break once for 8. Well, actually, I had doctors who told me I had fibromyalgia and would never report again, and I believed them. And I was in such pain those first 2 years that was my evidence. So obviously they're right. I'm in pain, and it's shooting all over my body in a different place all the time. And I just felt like I was plugged into some kind of really erratic electrical outlet, and I had no control over the pain that was distributed all over my body. I mean, it was headaches, backaches, neck aches, migraines, shoulder, arm, muscles, legs, parts I don't even use. Like I'd sit on my ass most of the time, and here my legs were hurting, because they're realizing now that a lot of what they thought were autoimmune disorders, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, all of those things are actually rooted in, the demographics are predominantly women, predominantly in your midlife 30s, childbearing years, predominantly white, but those are not exclusive by any means, can hit anybody anytime. 40-year-old Black guy that is, not in our demographics can still get fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome. But where that's coming from is trauma from earlier in life, trauma that was pushed away, pushed down, scrunched, ignored, not allowed to come to the surface, not allowed to be expressed, not allowed to be seen, felt, or heard, or acknowledged. And we're in a world now where everybody's encouraging us all to feel our feelings and to, express our emotions. Well, that actually in and of itself isn't the healing method either, because you can have somebody who's got anger that's been repressed or suppressed or pushed down, and they're so angry, they've finally gotten to the point where they don't care what others think about them as they're exploding and getting angry and expressing their anger. But what we're finding in neuroscience studies is that in and of itself is actually just like a tea kettle, and you're letting the steam off a little bit. So it feels better for the moment. I'm expressing my feelings. I feel better, except then you put the lid back on because nothing's actually been processed. The pot is still there. The pot is still under pressure, and it's still going to boil over again until we, in a kind, loving way, allow those things to come to the surface to see what's there. Now, here's another totally different way of looking at the whole situation. This one kind of blew my mind. What if you have an anger problem, and that's just for the moment, for this time and now, who you are? It's what you're dealing with. It's not right, wrong, or indifferent. Please don't go hurt anybody else. But the anger, the frustration, the anxiety, the panic, the whatever it is that you're dealing with, what if you don't need to heal anything for that to not be a problem in your life anymore? We're in this place where we feel like we have to heal and change and transform. And I've talked about it. That was my journey, feeling like I had a whole lot of things I had to heal because it felt so messed up. But what if that was my journey? What if the frustration and the pain and the disappointment and the heart-wrenching emotions, what if that was what I came into this lifetime for? Then this lifetime gave it to me. Really did. There are theories out there that, we come onto the planet and we pick our parents. And there was a long time when I just couldn't imagine, what kind of universe I would have picked them. And then realizing today, when I work with some of you and you tell me heart-wrenching stories, and my heart is right there with you, I'm able to hold the space for you, not from just a therapeutic place, but from a place of just love and surrender, because I understand. I truly know the pain that you're talking about. I truly know that feeling of I'm stuck and I can't get the door open. I can't walk out of this place I'm trapped in. And somehow I know I've got the key in my hand and there's the door, and still I can't leave. It's like I don't know how to put the key in the door. Or in my case, I loved it. The visual that came to me one night was, you don't even need the key. The freaking door's open. You just won't walk out because you're so afraid of what this life would look like without you being the you that you've come to be habitually attached to. This is who you think you are. This is who you think you always have to be. What does that have to do with testing? It's a huge step to surrender to what is, not to give up, not to quit, to pull back and relax and stop trying to control every single element of your journey. Stop trying to control that next test, to just let it happen. What if you're putting a whole lot of energy into a test that 2 people pass out of 200? So you're not an anomaly, you know, who knows why they did? I don't know, maybe they had Wheaties for breakfast, but that doesn't matter because we're not comparing ourselves to them. We're just trying to get to a place where we're non-resistant about what's happening, that we're showing up and we're doing the work and we're keeping our eyes focused on the goal and we're keeping our emotions attached to the why that brought us to this part of our journey. But to just believe that I hated it when somebody would say, oh, in all good time, everything happens in good time. I'm like, I don't think it's good time because it doesn't feel good to me. And why isn't it happening faster? I'm working harder than those people and it's not happening faster for me. Well, maybe that's because I'm putting effort into the wrong equation. Maybe the equation isn't, I have to kill myself and stress myself and hurt myself, thinking that way somehow I will have earned better results. And I'm not saying not show up. I'm not saying not do the work. I'm saying relax while you're doing it. Can we do that? Now that's what we have to do out in the field as working reporters every single day. We show up not knowing what we're going to get. We show up and not having any control over what kind of case is it, what kind of mood is the witness in, what kind of emotional wreck is the attorney who's questioning. We have no control over any of that. All we can do is show up with literally an open heart, with accepting the assignment and accepting you showing up as who you are with the skills that you have in this situation. And you do your best. You just give it your all and you do your best. And that is what I want you to do in your practice. That's what I want you to do in testing situations. Give it your best, give it your all, but stop allowing that part of your brain to say that somehow this next thing you're trying to accomplish is the thing that's going to determine the rest of your life. If it was the test that was your test with your name on it, waiting for you to come and pass it, then yeah, things are going to change. But if it's your next stepping stone, because there's something in that test that you have to get a handle on before you can pass the test that's meant for you to pass, then show up for that. There's something in every test you take. There's something in every job I take that makes me better for the next one. Sometimes I don't know what that is. I just show up and keep doing my best. But sometimes I'll see something and realize, oh, I do have an element of control over that. I could do that differently. I could do that better. Sometimes it's, I can stay in my core. I can hang on grounded to me instead of my brain flying all over the place and becoming my new worst enemy, my fifth voice in the room. Sometimes that's all it is. It's an exercise. Every single day I take a job, it's an exercise in something different, some different element of my job that, oh, how do I tell the students about this? Well, maybe they don't need to know it for 43 plus years like me. Didn't happen until yesterday. So don't stay awake at night worrying about what could happen, because you got no idea what could happen. Yesterday, I spent 2 hours preparing for a real-time job for today, and then it canceled. Now, I sat back and thought, I shouldn't have prepared for that at all. That was 2 hours wasted out of my life. Well, maybe, but I put a whole lot of entries in my dictionary, and I became familiar with a whole lot of things that I wasn't familiar with before. And who knows, it's happened when I've been set up for a job and gotten ready, and 6 months later, that job pops up again. Oh, well, so that night, I'm not going to have 2 more hours of prep because it's already done. Stuff's already in my dictionary. My mind is already wrapped around the job. I just got to refresh. Oh, that job. Got it. No problem. But still, you show up and you don't know the attorneys. You don't know the witness. You don't know the dialects, the speed, the cadence, the rhythm, the anger in the room sometimes when you get hostile witnesses. Sometimes hostile witnesses can shut down. And they're very easy to report because they don't say much. You got frustrated attorneys trying to repeat the same question over and over and over again. Oh, good. I'm good at this question. I've done it 10 times already. Or sometimes you get a witness who's so angry to be there that this is their soapbox to stand on and proclaim to the world the injustices that they're feeling in their life. And they will do it at 260, 80 words per minute. Without stopping, talking about technical patent matters that you have no idea what they're saying. And so all of a sudden you find yourself in a 280 word per minute literary, and you don't know what they're talking about. The words are totally unfamiliar, and you got to hang on for dear life. And you got to tell yourself, every day isn't like this. Every day is not like this. Every test you take is not like this. Yes, you will take tests where words come up and topics come up, and it seems so unfair because I was thinking about Katie, thinking about you, about topics, museum and words that I'm thinking curator and, whatever, words that have to do with that industry. I had never taken a job that I don't the word museum, I think, came up for me probably about 6 weeks ago because somebody was talking, a doctor, a skin graft specialist, had rendezvoused with one of his young patients and their family. She had gone through a 3rd-degree burn skin graft, and he has this thing he does at the museum in San Francisco, like once or twice a year, where everybody gets together, and it's kind of a way of group support and mingling with the staff and the patients and everybody feeling like they're all on the same page to get the same results. But here I was writing the word museum and going, what did you say? San Francisco Natural Museum of Natural blah, 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 blah. And it went on for like 5 syllables. And then it came back and he said it again, thank goodness. But I would have had to Google it. I wrote it like my life depended on it. Weird words come up every day. The best I think we can do is on a daily basis, keep reminding your subconscious, your conscious mind, all parts of you. Hey, you, the one over there behind the machine. Every day is an exercise in hearing a new combination of sounds and a new combination of words and new topics and new endeavors and new everything. And when it's new, it's difficult. I think my son said this best, but he keeps saying, no, Mom, I'm quoting another philosopher when he says everything is difficult at first until it isn't. Brilliant. Your brain likes what's familiar. So you're going to flow and float and ace the stuff that's familiar. The idea is to become more familiar with the unfamiliar, to make that your new mission and your new goal, and to let up on yourself, to let up on the pressure that you're putting on yourself, to know that I know you hate it, but those tests that you're going to pass, I swear, have your name on them. It's like they're waiting for you to do the stuff you need to do to get there. Now, human nature says, I want to know. Give me the date. Is that March 6th next year? I can hang on if I know it's March 6th next year. But when you tell me, I don't know, feels like infinity, and I don't like infinity. I want clear, concise dates that I can plan for. I mean, I literally got my calendar sitting right here next to me, and it's like, I'm still trying to break away from the idea that my life is run by a calendar. Guess what? I'm the one that puts the stuff on the calendar. So apparently it's run by me and the universe and its own ideas. And yet I feel this compulsion to feel like somehow I'm in control of it. What if the control you're trying to hang on to, the illusion of control that you're chasing, is not the real control? What if you have ultimate control? What if it's inside you just burning to get out, and it's just saying, whenever you're ready, whenever you're ready, I'm not going to push to come out, but when you step out of the way, I'm going to stream forward and change things in your life in ways that you can't imagine. Remember that parking place you were looking for, and for a moment you kind of let go, like, that's stupid, and then I found one for you. You thought you did that, or you thought it was an accident, or yeah, coincidences. No, that was me. That was the part of me that was finally able to create something, to find something. The part of me that can process 2 million bits of information per second, that knows and sees and perceives and is aware of so much more than this up here could ever be. And it saw that parking place. No other part of you did. And I gave you a nudge and I said, go around the corner one more time. And there it was. Actually, I saw the woman coming out of the store with the bag, with the keys clicking. I saw the lights on the car. I knew that she was leaving. And I knew we had just enough time to round the corner and she'd be gone, and that would be your spot. Some people call that paranormal. I call it beyond normal. I call it the part of us, it's magic, that we're raised as little kids to believe doesn't exist, and that we're supposed to put our goggles on and just be here in this physical world with the, what do they call it, the Newtonian physics laws that we try to live by, which work in the 3D world. But you see people every day jumping out of, you don't know how they're doing it, but they're literally taking their vibration to a higher level than 3D and creating things that are happening instantaneously in this 3D world, in this world of matter. Because for what we are trying to do sometimes, it's called matter affecting matter. We are trying to control and affect and have something happen on that machine during a test by sheer will, by sheer physical repetition. And all of that is important. You need the skills, you need the physicality, because we're in a physical world. But for people who just say, it's mine, I know it's mine, I'm getting out of school whenever I'm getting out of school, there's a test with my name on it waiting out there. I tell people, for California, this is a harder one to believe these days, but there is a California CSR number. It's an actual defined number that is waiting for you. And I've had several reporters who've said, I couldn't believe what that number was when I got it. It was my birth date. Or I couldn't believe what that number was. It was my favorite sequence of numbers. Or it was all even numbers, and my birthday is even numbers, my address is even numbers. It was something that meant something to them, that made them know that it was true, that they connected to something greater than themselves that was holding a place and waiting for the physical time and space world to catch up. But we can make the catch up faster, but we cannot do it by brute force and trying to control it. It's like the opposite. How can that be true? Because all of us are high overachievers, or we wouldn't be here. So we came from a growing of you better work harder, work longer, give more effort than anybody else, and that's what's going to get you the results. For most things, it will. For a lot of things, it will. Sometimes for steno, it won't. There's an element of letting go. There's an element of doing the work and letting go. Like almost like being in a swimming pool and finally letting go of the side of the pool and just saying, I know how to float. I know how to flow. I know how to release and trust. I wish I had a magic ending for this. Oh, that's you. I love you guys. Have a great day. And I'll talk to you later.